What is going on, guys? My name is 4G. So today I wanted to make a video talking about something that we used to have in the original version of Fortnite, something we haven't had in a very long time, a pretty unique feature, and that is the block. The block is something that was actually added with Chapter 1 Season 7. They announced it at the Game Awards. It was something that I remember making a video about a long time ago when it just randomly appeared before the Game Awards event actually happened and the actual announcement happened. They just randomly out of the blue destroyed Risky Reels and replaced it with this solid slab of concrete. And for a while there, we were all wondering what the hell is going on. We were wondering what was happening here. What is this thing? The block. What is this? Well, pretty much the way it worked when they announced it at the Game Awards is this is a POI that is completely made by the community. This is something that is absolutely amazing, by the way. I thought this was the best idea ever, and I still to this day wish that they would do this for the most recent version of the Fortnite map. Unfortunately, a lot of things have changed since Chapter 1, and the block is no longer something that they do. But I would love to see it happen because there were some absolutely creative things, and it pretty much added variety to the Fortnite map that we never saw before, okay? We never saw this type of stuff before. They pretty much, the way it would work is people would make it in creative mode, and then they could submit it to Epic Games. This made for some pretty interesting plays, especially when you saw people like Tfue, for example, playing in the World Cup, because of course in Chapter 1 Season 8, when the World Cup was going on, this POI was on the map. There would actually be a different POI each week, I believe. It was pretty much every time we got a brand new update. So it was either each week or every 2 weeks. I believe it was every 2 weeks, actually, yeah. So we would get a completely brand new POI every week or every other week, and it was always very interesting to see what the community would come up with. It was not a consistent thing that you would want to do all the time, but it was something that definitely added to the game experience and added some variety, and it's something that I think Chapter 2, for an example, could have used a lot, because Chapter 2 was the worst chapter when it comes to map changes. I don't care what anyone says about Chapter 2. They loved that chapter, whatever. You're free to your opinion. To me, I thought it was pretty boring, and it was because of Chapter 2 having absolutely no map changes. So if they had a block kind of POI always changing on the map every single week, every other week, that would have been fantastic. That would have been a really nice thing to spice up the map, but unfortunately, that is not the case, and pretty much every POI that was on the Chapter 2 map from the very first Chapter 2 update kind of stuck around until the very last Chapter 2 update, and that is why it was kind of boring. But on the Chapter 1 map, going back to how it was in Chapter 1 Season 7, they moved it from where Risky Reels was on the northeast part of the Chapter 1 map, and they moved it to the northwest side of the map, just a little bit west of Junction. This destroyed the OG motel, I believe, from what I remember. Yeah, it destroyed the OG motel, but honestly, I think that that was a worthwhile trade because the block was pretty awesome, especially the first one of Chapter 1 Season 8. I still remember it was like a giant castle. Like I said, it was always so awesome to see what the community could come up with. Now, why would they not do this nowadays? Why did they get rid of it? Why did they scrap it? I have no idea 100%, but there's some theories that have gone around, of course. The one big thing that everyone likes to throw around, which we don't even know for a fact if this is the case, but I'm just saying there was a particular situation where there was a chair and a rope. I'm not going to go into that, all right? I'm not going to go too deep into that. This is a Fortnite video at the end of the day, but all I'm saying is that unfortunately got through, and they really quickly removed that particular POI. But the theory is that Epic Games saw that, they realized that is a possibility, and they just didn't want to do it anymore after dealing with things like that, of course, which is the same reason why we don't have custom emblems in Call of Duty. If you ever play that, it's because the community cannot be trusted, is my point. But either way, I don't exactly know if that is the case. Another thing is just the fact that they didn't want to have to go through the approval process. It could have been a massive thing to go through, and maybe it took a lot more time and effort than it was worth to have a specific POI on the map like that. So we don't exactly know if that's the reason why they got rid of it or if it's some other reason. We will never know for sure because Epic Games has never truly commented, but I will say that there is a possibility that we could see the block return in the near future. I say in the near future, at least a year from now, when we are in Chapter 1 Season 7 yet again, because Risky Reels will get replaced in the Fortnite OG mode with the block, or will it? They like to keep the map so far. They like to keep everything pretty authentic from what we've seen with Fortnite OG. I mean, to an extent, obviously. The quality of life features, like not changing the movement between different modes. I mean, I would like to see the OG movement, not like the OG movement. Yeah, I would like to see the animations of the OG movement, but I wouldn't like to see like the lack of sprint, mantling. Not. I like that, and sliding, doing all that stuff. I mean, it does have a negative effect for being real on the map because the Fortnite map, the original one, wasn't designed with that kind of movement in mind, but I'm just saying, I think it made it a much better experience overall. But the point is, they like to keep things pretty authentic, or for the most part. Of course, there are some inconsistencies, but for the most part, they're pretty good with keeping the OG mode authentic, even down to the point where they brought the Renegade Raider back, which we never thought that they would do, but they did. So to not not have the block in the game would be kind of interesting. And that also makes me wonder, are they going to have the exact same blocks that we had back in that time? I don't think so. I really don't think so. I don't know how that would work, because certain creators, maybe they wouldn't even want their particular creation on the Fortnite island or not, or maybe they do, because that would be kind of cool. Imagine now your creation is cemented in Fortnite history to the point where it's even returning in Fortnite OG. That would have been pretty cool. I remember I wanted to make one at some point, but I just never got around to finishing it. Not like it would have been approved. I really highly doubt that. Maybe it would. I don't know. But back then I wasn't really that great at creating things like that. I think nowadays, if they did something like that, maybe we could do that again. I don't know. I think the best way they could do that is, instead of having the same POIs that we had back then, we still do have a block system, but they bring back the system where people can actually submit their maps, especially now with UEFN. Imagine how interesting things could be if you could import custom models. I mean, maybe that would create some complications again. Either way, they're getting put into creative mode anyway, so if you can approve it for the regular creative mode, why couldn't it be approved as a POI on the Fortnite OG map? I don't exactly know. I don't exactly know what people would like to see, so leave it in the comments. Would you like to see them do the exact same block POIs that they had back then, or do you think this is a great opportunity for them to do it again and actually have some brand new POIs? Because like I said, I think that would be a great opportunity for them to do so. They don't seem to want to do it for the other modes, but it makes absolutely no sense for them to not do it for this one, because of course OG had that particular POI. And I still think the block is the most interesting part of it. I still associate the block with the reboot vans as well. I remember landing at that castle POI in season 8. I don't know who made it. I'll never know, I guess, but I don't know if the castle POI was the one with that controversial item in there. I don't exactly remember. All I know is that there was a giant castle and I got on high ground and we're fighting on high ground with some other people, and it was a fun time, man. It was a great time. It was always interesting to see what new POI you could land at every single time they had one, but I'm very interested to see once we get around to Chapter 1 Season 7. I mean, there's a lot of things I want to see when it comes to this OG mode, if they stay true to a lot of different things. I mean, I think that they will. I mean, everything about OG in terms of gameplay is pretty much similar other than the movement. It's pretty much the exact same. It's kind of crazy how identical that they are, even down to the frag grenades have this weird icon, of course. Now, again, there are some inconsistencies, as I mentioned. Things like the bolt snipers are the Chapter 2 versions for some reason, even though they sound like the Chapter 1 version when you have a purple or gold one, but they are the Chapter 2 one. I don't exactly know why they did that. I really would like them to revert that, and I've complained about it a bunch of times, but please revert the reticle in the scope. Sounds like a dumb thing to complain about, but man, it makes the game so much better when it had the OG reticle. The original reticle looks so much better, and for anybody who says that that is crazy, all right, crazy thing to complain about, they let you customize these things in games like Call of Duty for a reason, okay? Reticles matter, okay? They can be the difference between hitting your shot or not. It's all psychological, it is, but it can make a huge difference. So I'd like to see that particular thing get changed when it comes to that. Just make things more consistent. I'm just hoping that these inconsistencies are just like that, because this is the very first version of Fortnite OG, and that they do in fact improve upon it and make it even more authentic going forward. But regardless, I'm very much looking forward to seeing future seasons, and of course seeing the block, as this whole video was about. The block is a very interesting POI with a lot of different possibilities that they could do, especially nowadays where people who make creative maps can probably do even more crazy things, especially like I said with UEFN. So I would love to see them do something like that nowadays. So let's hope that they in fact do it. But what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. And if you guys enjoyed this video, a like would be greatly appreciated. If you're new here and you like videos like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day.